This little trick that our resident baker Andrew taught me. It's going to be much easier to control the amount of flour that we add to the baguette. All right, and we can go ahead so that it doesn't stick to the board and just drop it on that flour and then move it forward. So now I want to press this into a rough 6 by 4 inch rectangle with the long side facing the edge of the counter. So I'm going to take the top quarter and fold it to the center, because what we're doing is working more air into the baguette. We'll flip it around, and again the bottom quarter goes right in. So this is not like a business letter where you're folding it in thirds. So now I'm going to fold that top half over the bottom, and I'll use my thumb just to guide it to keep a nice little tunnel in there as I fold it over. And as I'm folding this down, I want to pinch the bottom of the baguette, and then I'll take the heel of my hand and really seal that tight. Now, I'm not pressing down on the rest of the baguette, just this seam part. During this entire time, I've left the two ends open. That's because there could be some really large air bubbles trapped in there. We want to give it a place to come out. So we're going to start working this into more of a long baguette shape. I'm going to start at the center. I'll just take my hand and kind of work it back and forth just a little bit. So now I can start to really work this out. We want it to be evenly sized, about 15 inches long. And I'm just using both my hands to kind of pull it and stretch it. Finally, we want the ends of the baguette to have that really nice pointed end. They get super dark and they're the best part of the baguette. This is kind of like twisting. I'm going to twist in opposite directions quickly until I get two pointed ends. All right, so now let me go ahead and bring this over to the couche. Before I do that, I want to find the seam, and it's running right along there. We're going to place this seam side up, and then I want to take the couche and kind of pleat it on either side, making a little cradle for the baguette. All right, so while we're working on the second one, I'm going to cover this with a plastic bag. So let's do the second one. 6 by 4 inch rectangle. Again, top quarter down to the center, flip it around, and then top quarter down again. Again, bring this top half over the bottom with your thumb inside, pinching out any of those large bubbles as I go along, and then the heel of my hand to really seal that tight. And then start rolling it out.
This is the fun part.
You want to try it?
Yeah, it's highly entertaining.
All right. 15 inches, Chris. There you go. 15 inches. Now you want to try the two ends? But just go back and forth like that.
I think I can do it.
I think you can do it. Let's look at it. Boom.
Boom.
Done.
That's why I'm here. If I can do it, go ahead.
Now turn the other way.
Anybody can do it.
Okay, that's perfect. Okay, let's look for that seam. You did a great job, Chris. So again, seam side up, right next to the first baguette. All right, so now we need to tuck them in because it's bedtime. And this whole thing, the sheet pan, the couche, the baguettes are all going to go inside that plastic bag. And this is going to keep the baguettes airtight. It's going to collect some moisture in there, a little bit of heat put off as they rise. We want to wait until it's doubled in size, about 45 minutes to 60 minutes, and then we'll come back. All right, Chris, it's finally time to put the baguettes into the oven. So what we have here is a 16 by 12 inch piece of parchment. I've got it on our pizza peel. We're going to bake the baguettes right on the parchment. And now let's go ahead and open these up. We want to pull it so that the pleats are no longer there. We can't just simply pick these baguettes up because if we did, they would start to stretch and they would be a really strange shape. So we're going to use what is called a transfer board. Now we want to get these a little farther apart from each other. So I'll use the transfer board and just flip them over. So now I'm going to grab the edge of the couche, and holding this at about a 45-degree angle here, I'm going to flip it right on. And now I can go ahead and flip it right on to the parchment. And we want to space these about 3 inches apart. So there we go. All right, now we need to make those perfect slashes in the bread, and those are release cuts. It gives space for the bread to expand. And we're using a lame for this, and it's just the curved razor blade, basically. And if it tears a little bit at the dough, that's perfectly fine. And it's best not to get too hung up on it and to do it quickly. All right, so these are ready to go into the oven. If you wouldn't mind, I'll take the baguettes. You can take that double layer of disposable pan.
What, dare I ask, are we doing with this?
Come on, I'll show you.
Okay.
We've got the baking stone preheated on the middle rack of the oven. We preheated it at 500 degrees. We wanted to bake it slightly higher up than usual. This is only going to be in there for about 20 minutes, so we need to get color fast. And now I'm going to pull this out. So if you could place that double layer of disposable pans right on top. All right, let's close it up. Now, the disposable pan thing. During the first 5 minutes of baking, we really want to trap the steam so that it can help the baguettes expand. It starts to promote a really crisp crust, and also helps with browning because in order for the Maillard reaction to occur, it needs a little bit of moisture. So we've trapped the steam under those pans for the first 5 minutes, and then I'll go ahead and take them off and let those baguettes bake until they're a nice golden brown color, probably another 12, 15 minutes. Now tell me what you see.
Cheaper than going Paris. Tell you that much.
That is true. Oh, let me pull these out. Gorgeous. Nice even color. Oh, they're hot. So we'll transfer them to a wire rack. And I know this is always the hardest part. Got to let these cool. Just 20 minutes, though.
The whole day has a theme.
Yes.
What is it?
Wait.
Wait. We'll be back.
Of course, you can just crack these open and
Well,
rip them apart.
The French wouldn't slice them. They would just break off a piece.
That's right. But where are we? Is this France's test kitchen? No, it's America's test kitchen, Chris. Now, listen to that crust. Amazing.
I'm just going to take a hunk. This is how you should do it. See
All
there?
right, so let's move on down. There's some butter
On
there.
my hunk, you have your little slice.
Une petite.
No butter for me.
No butter for
I just
you?
want to taste the bread.
That's true. I'll
Oh.
give it a taste.
Oh.
Now, I do want to show, look at this crumb in here. It's got some bigger holes, some little holes. Perfect.
Great crisp crust. Inside, it's on the light side, which is nice. But the thing I really like about this, it actually has flavor.
A lot of flavor.
Now, if you buy baguettes, there's some very good bakeries in America, and some of them are terrific, but a lot of baguettes have no flavor.
Nope.
It's just white bread inside.
Right, they taste like the bag they were sold in.
So this does have a little weedy flavor, has a little malty flavor, a little buttery flavor. Yeah. So the secret to a Parisian-style baguette started with all-purpose flour, not bread flour, some whole wheat flour that was sifted to get rid of the bran, and some diastatic malt for a little less additional flavor. Obviously kneaded it with a machine for a bit, and then let it sit in 4 30-minute increments, a little folding on top. Just incorporate a little bit of air and let that flavor develop in the fridge for at least 24 hours. And then brought it back out, we shaped it, we used that nice cloth to do the shaping. And then we went into a very, very hot oven, 500 degrees with the pizza stone. And the other trick was that upside down disposable pan, double pan, to bring moisture around the dough to get a nice lift and get some nice brownies. So from America's Test Kitchen to your kitchen, perhaps the world's best, I'm not modest, the world's best baguette recipe made at home. You can get this recipe, all the recipes from this season. You can get equipment ratings, taste tests, and also watch select episodes of the show at our website, which is americastestkitchen.com. Excellent, excellent job.
Fantastic.